All right, Luka Nation, welcome back. Episode 881. We're going to get right into it of Lucas Tigers and Bronzo My. Cage was 12 minutes late, which cost me to go onto Twitter and mess around with just the perils of chaos, whatever that is.
What did you do in 12 minutes? Did you get Elon Musk thrown off Twitter?
I didn't actually pick up anything, but it's like junk food, right? So I have this whole episode planned out. And who even knows if it'll get through? But anyway, how's the family?
We'll get through it.
Late. How's everyone doing?
Good. It was a Taco Tuesday for Hanukkah tonight. Is that how you say it? Can you say it for me?
Hanukkah.
Oh, so you don't even say it good.
What do you say, like Chanukah? How am I supposed to say it?
You have to. It's in the wintertime, so everybody's got like snot. They're like, you gotta like do that. You gotta. No.
You got to remember, a lot of our audience, probably 60%, is on audio, so they don't know what's going on. They just hear a lot of weird shit, man.
Well, that's so. It's and to all of you who are on audio,
they don't get to have the balance of the beautiful smile, beautiful eyes, beautiful hair, and a weird sound.
And so you,
and me, yeah,
of all that beautiful stuff on this side of the camera. You're right. I mean, guys, you should watch yesterday's episode. I did the first 10 minutes or so wearing an aluminum foil hat, so. You should check that one out.
You were pretty stingy. Like you didn't even actually use enough tinfoil. You used like
that was all that was left in the box that I was brought. So guys, I had to make do.
We're doing these hobby awards, and first off, something that's pretty cool. Look out for this. So we have 3 different sponsors, so to speak.
So far.
So I think that's. Well, okay, so far.
Additional sponsors.
So now I have to go
possibly out you. No, you don't have to go out. This I'm going out right now in this episode and saying that's 3. We had yesterday 1. Now we have 3. If you're listening to this and you think, wow, I have Zion cases, or I have boxes of cards I can give, or I have pairs of sneakers, or whatever it may be. Boom.
Well, this isn't a donation drive, so people are gonna hear that. They're gonna be like, "You want my used sneakers? All right, where do I send them?" So Panini, Reebok and Panini, the shoe collab. That's one of the sponsors. They donated some shoes. So 2 of those pairs are gonna go to the winners of the meme category, and 2 are gonna go to the community Mint Collective. A show they're putting together like a little gift basket of Zion cases.
Boom.
General admission passes to Mint in end of March, early April. And then Fanatics stepped up and they're going to provide 5 of these like Bowman Platinum boxes. So we're going to try to find a way to give it both to the community and to some of the award winners, right? So it's not going to be award winners like companies, but it will be individuals and it will be commenters. So like someone, if you guys are listening and want to let them know, one of the winners of the Reebok Panini sneakers is Cardwax. Someone who's been a listener of the show. I think he's a Chicago Bulls fan, and he just left a pleasant comment, right? He left a pleasant comment. It felt right, like he was giving praise to a lot of the different accounts in the hobby. So he's one of the winners if you guys want to let him know.
Right, we haven't posted that yet. Breaking news right here. Andrew is Judge Dredd. He's like Sylvester Stallone. He's judge, jury, and executioner. I am the law.
Some winners are going to be number driven, like they're going to be tallied up, and it's going to be like the community chose these. And some of the winners are going to be people that myself
chosen by the dictatorship in the land of Andrew.
I hardly run this thing as a dictatorship. What kind of leader would you say that I am?
A bad one.
I would agree. So it won't be a dictatorship. It's people from like our team, Alex, Shane, Cage, or myself, who are like, hey, this is someone I love what they're doing. And it brings you to point A of the episode. It's nice. These hobby awards have given me such perspective, a lens, so to speak, into the hobby. And it's the good, the bad, and the ugly. It's kind of
a lot of the ugly.
So let me go through. I have my percentages. You'll share yours. So I think 90% is good. So 90% is people praising meme accounts, businesses, and sharing what they liked about what those people or what those businesses have done. So 90% is giving flowers, giving shout outs, saying, this is who I love. This is why I like it. The bad. Maybe it's social media. I don't know what it is. We struggle with reading and comprehension. So the amount of people that have just skipped over the initial first line of the caption to say this person or this should be nominated
or to call us idiots for not including
is alarming because the first line of the caption says tag who you, if we missed anybody, feel free to tag them in the comments.
Right.
And then the ugly. There are maybe a handful of people that think the communities that other people have built is their bulletin board to go on diatribes of some like idealistic shit. And we need to stop with the guilty by association type of kind of hobby accusations. Like if I've seen you with this person and this person is, in my opinion, a huge scumbag, you are, just by being in the same room as them, an equally big scumbag. I think that is such a weird and disjointed way of living. So that's my take to start us off.
I like it. Making hobby irrelevance relevant again. Andrew Goldberg, 2022.
What?
I said making hobby irrelevance relevant again. I'm getting a little feedback, getting a little echo repeaty. But yeah, I mean, yeah, there's 5 people who do that. It's sort of like if Wendy's went on Twitter and said, for New Year's, we're going to give away 1 million chicken nuggets. Just repeat. And someone went in the comments, yeah, I want the nuggets. Yeah, I want the nuggets. Oh, give me the nuggets. Nuggets for everybody. 1,000 people get in there, get free nuggets. Everybody else is cheering. We all love nuggets. And one person comes in there and talks about how chicken is bad. And McDonald's kills a lot of chickens, and Wendy's is sort of like McDonald's. So this whole thing should just be someone should put an end to this giveaway. So you got 1,000 people cheering for their free nugs, and one person. Let's just highlight that one idiot. So what I take from it is there is very little in the hobby like the hobby awards, and I can't wait for version 3 a year from now and version 10 7 years from now, because just think about how we did it last year with like 5 or 6, just small, here you go, vote, done. And now we've expanded it, and I get messages all the time saying, hey, you should have this category, you should add this category, and then
any come to mind.
I can tell you one right now, but it'll be a deeper conversation. Best woman in the hobby. That was what somebody suggested today. Most notable, woman in the hobby in 2022, and then gave 4 names. And I said one of the names would actually probably push back at this nomination and say, why shouldn't I just be nominated as best person in the
person of the year in the hobby?
And then the person who suggested this was like, you know what, that's right, forget that I said it. These are the things that come out during hobby awards. And what's funny is all of the people who were suggested for those nominees for that category will be nominated for other awards. They are in our nominations. All of those women who were suggested in that category will be nominated just as a nominee in a different category. So yeah, I mean, the hobby awards opens up dialogues on a lot of fronts. It opens up a lot of conversations. I think that, while we just have our own community and that's just one segment of the world, right? I mean, the hobby has got hundreds of thousands of people in it. If you just look at Jeff Wilson's follower account, there's 3 million people in the hobby. I only have 3,500, right? So we're
not going to... Stacking Slab's story today about that?
No. What did it say?
He said most people, when they enter just an industry in general, are looking for number of followers. But the word he used is resonance. What people should be focused on, or businesses should be focused on, is depth, I think, and connection with their followers. Because a lot of those followers drop off and leave the industry, but there's still the number stays.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's part of it, right? But I guess where I'm going with it is, even if we get great resonance with the 8,000 or so people that Luka Nation has as followers, 9,000, we know that that's just the tip of the iceberg of the hobby that's out there. There are people who don't know us, and there are people out there that we don't know. So we're not going to get all of the hobby, but we're going to get exposed to that. We're going to get, a couple things that come out of this. Number one, the people who are nominated they get to see from the 8,000 or so, the people who want to comment, what the community that we've built thinks of them. You get a clear slant on, okay, this is the best one of these. This is the best. Some of these categories are, 90% one way, you know what I mean? And you can kind of, take what you want from that. If I were one of the nominees there, I'd be happy to be nominated. But then, okay, look, I'm not doing it as well as this person. I got to step up my game in 2023. I mean, that's part of it. And then for someone like me, I love the comments that are like, hey, what about this person? What about this person? What about, and I go follow them. And I message them and I say, hey, I wasn't following you. I'm following you now. And if they don't follow me back in an hour, I unfollow them.
Unshun, reshun.
Unshun, reshun.
What do you? I've never heard that. So we've done a lot of episodes. I've never really heard you be that competitive. And do you think that they're?
No, I'm just joking.
Competitive and nice. I think Lamim comes to mind. Lamim has been super active with these hobby awards, giving praise and flowers to people in the meme category and others. But I know Meme, he's competitive. He wants to put out good stuff, right? What do you think about that? You were like, there is the element of, hey, I could win the award next year, right?
Yeah,
I can up my game. Okay, I'm nominated. I wasn't nominated a year ago. Maybe next year I'm going to build up such a strong knit community that I could be a winner. Do you think that matters?
Of course. I mean, I know that there are hobby podcasts out there that when they approach sponsorship, ask for $1 million. And, hey, sponsor us. It's $1 million. We can't ask for $1 million. I mean, we can ask, but we're going to get laughed at. But if we continue to work and continue to run circles around that podcast that asks for $1 million, continue to be 10 times the podcast that
Cage was in the city today. This guy.
Yeah, I mean, eventually your $1 million ask was a bargain. So, yeah, I love it.
If you could make it here, you could make it anywhere. That's what Sinatra said. There's something about going into the city where you're like,
it's cold.
If I drop dead, no one would care. But if I make it, I could really make it here.
It's true. That it is. It's one of those you can die, and 99% of the time you're just going to die there.
I gotta tell you, I don't miss New York. I do see the glamour of it, but I'm like, man, I get so much more bang for my buck here in Florida than living in a shoebox in New York. I don't miss it. I really don't.
I mean, you probably also don't miss the winter, chapped lips.
Oh, the worst.
Just runny nose. Everybody's sick. And everybody now trying to hide that they're sick. That's the best part. If you're on a train or a bus and you have to cough, you have to do one of those. If you cough, people are like, you got the plague. You can't. Don't cough by me. Go shunned. Go in the corner.
I think you're gonna be proud of me. I noticed something as a casual.
Ooh, I'm excited.
History doesn't repeat itself, but it
rhymes. Yes,
I'm noticing.
You gonna rhyme for me? Let me hear your best
interesting thread happen in Game Worn. Now we know with Game Worn, there is the cream of the crop, right? There is the best stuff. The Gretzky jersey that just sold, the Jordan rookie jersey. The iconic, let's call that the 1%, the elite stuff. And I do believe that stuff is in forever homes right now. But now I'm starting to see Jamar Chase rookie jerseys go for $20,000. Defensive linemen Game Worn jerseys that are still playing go for $9,000, $10,000. And I'm sitting here thinking, this is the base cards, gold cards all over again. The people that buy the gold, and this is just as a casual. I don't know Game Worn. I'm interested. I think it's a cool industry. So I like watching it from a very casual view with no money involved. So I could be wrong. But it does seem like the people bought up the gold in the last year, the Prism Gold out of 10. And now we're starting to see base cards appreciate. But the person that's buying the Jamar Chase jersey, they're just looking are they going to keep that forever? Or are they just buying that because they don't want to miss the train? Thoughts?
I mean, we've seen money swing from one category to another. And it would not surprise me if people who are seeing the top line jersey sales of the best guys are now also speculating on a Jamar Chase jersey. Would not surprise me at all. I think it's actually a pretty good analysis. But the growth here is that you are not saying, I'm going to go buy a Jamar Chase jersey now. You're instead identifying the pattern and saying, I'm going to stay away from this, which is a big step.
I saw the price. I think it was $18.9 or something on someone's story. And I just thought that was such a preposterous price. One, you don't know how many are going to be out there in circulation. So you have no control over the supply. And who's really, how big is the collector base for Jamar Chase game-worn jerseys? Like, what are we talking, 50 people?
I mean, how many cousins does he have?
Like,
that would be the collector base.
And he's fantastic. There's no question about it. So any thoughts on, so I have a few other topics.
Game worn, the only thought I'll say on game worn is if you are thinking about jumping into it, be very careful. There are a lot of people out there who have different versions of what is collectible, what is not. There are a lot of people yelling into the Grand Canyon, I like to say. This is the best one. These are the best ones. They're not yelling at anybody, but they're yelling to probably pump their own bags. There's a whole bunch of them on Twitter. And the thing that's not developed yet in game worn, and whereas the biggest opportunity, but also the biggest opportunity for you to really get hurt, is card grading has come a long way, right? You have some certainty when a card is in a slab. It doesn't matter which slab. Obviously, each one has their own, benefit and to what slab it's in. But if you have a vintage card in a PSA slab, you can reasonably rely that is an authentic card. That is a card that you're going to be able to sell, et cetera, et cetera. When it comes to game worn, for the most part, it's an opinion on photo matching, right? Because it is a jersey. Barring something great like threads pulled off or a blood stain or like something that is very unique to that jersey,
right,
where you can see it and it's worn in the whole deal. And even then, something that can be faked. Not all photo matching is the same. There are some companies that you will carry much more favor than others. Probably carry a price premium. That is something that I believe will develop over time the same way that grading did, and I think there'll be a little more certainty in that asset class. Why I say it's an opportunity is because, memorabilia on its own is an area where people are messing up all the time. I just saw a story post of someone who bought a Tiger Woods autographed golf ball because it was auctioned off as Tom Watson autographed golf ball, but it turned out that it was really Tiger Woods' signature on there.
40, 50 bucks they got it for?
Yeah, and then it sold for significantly more. I mean, there's that area is not as, as developed as, the card area. So there are some opportunities, especially, something that's not photo matched or not photo matched by, My Gray or a more reputable company. But you buy it and then it becomes photo matched, right? It's like buying a game used bat that may or may not be game used, and then all of a sudden photographic evidence comes out to show that Babe Ruth used it in a World Series and hit 3 home runs with that bat. Oh my goodness, that becomes a very different item, right?
So, my thoughts on something like this is 99.5% of the best items are already in the hands of like the people who understand this industry, and any real new supply is either going to be gobbled up with them before it hits the open market, or once it hits the open market, it's sort of going to be like sloppy seconds.
So that's somebody like you can only get in with a Jamar Chase.
Yeah, exactly. So that's my intuition. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right.
And
by the way, if it's foreclosed to new people getting in, then it's also going to hamper price appreciation. Because if new people and new money aren't coming in to try to chase new things and there's not a supply to chase, you don't have that chase and that big boom of new demand.
Well, I'm thinking if the powers that be, let's say there's, and I don't know this, I'm not saying that 100% these is happening, but let's say there's 50, 20, 50, 100 people that own most of this stuff, right? Well, now they're not going to just liquidate it all at once. Mm-hmm. They're going to allow one to hit the market at a time, and they're going to allow secondary to compete and really get a nice premium on their. That's how I would go about it. That's how I think through it. Mm-hmm. So just don't feel like you've missed the boat. Maybe spend this cycle watching, learning, observing on the sidelines, tracking sales, understanding, this sale happened, try to learn. Ask, why did this one outsell this one, right? Ask those questions, put in the work, and maybe you get your 100 hours, 200 hours until you feel comfortable before dipping your toe in. That's how I'm thinking about it, because I do like game worn. I think it's cool.
I like this. We got some hobby awards, the good, the bad, and the irrelevant. And we have
ugly
game used. Where are we going from there?
So I have 2 more topics, or I don't want to hijack the show. I'm happy to popcorn it too.
You are the host extraordinaire. I love when you have the topics.
I promise to give the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God. Is that what it is? Do you promise to give the truth, the whole truth?
You need me to swear?
Yes.
I so affirm.
what do you think about Panini NFT? And is there a future with Panini Direct?
Maybe. And what I'll say is what you're seeing now is that just like anything else, there's a dedicated fan base, but the dedicated fan base is probably very small. So I assume you're talking about like Spinatron's post about the
Correct.
$30,000 bounty that he's going to put on a Messi 1-of-1 NFT. It's a cool kind of like driver. I mean, I haven't bought packs of Panini NFT in a long time, and Ian and I bought 10 soccer packs today to open to chase the 1-of-1. We didn't get any.
Is that an official offer, by the way? Like, or is that like the $3 million?
I think if you read, because you're always complaining, don't read. I think if you read his whole, I mean, spin doesn't. Brevity is not spin. It's not spinity. And so I think
once this takes off, my hope is to create a Substack for Spinatron in 2023, where it could be an email blast. He puts his thoughts in an email blast. It's a little bit easier to read.
Yeah, we need somebody to translate him to short form, and then we'd be perfect.
Well,
but yeah,
I think Substack a different. Sorry, if you actually copy all the text in, it might be able to read it to you. I don't know if you've seen articles
where like asleep by like the second paragraph. Though. That's the problem.
I'm trying to help. You're such a fuck. All right, go ahead, Panini Direct. Maybe.
I mean, we bought packs, and I bought 10 packs, and I got a Pedri. Nice. 70-75, like an insert or something like that. So that was a cool little thing.
That's decent.
But the first 6 packs, I will say this. One, Ian was like, I don't know any of these guys. And we watched every game. And he knows a lot of the guys. He's doing a sticker book. Like, he knows the names. He's like, I don't know any of these guys. And each time we open a pack, in the last 4, we got people he knew in every pack. Multiples we knew. But each time we got the same error, which is we're busy, like a high volume, which I know is bullshit, Panini. You don't have high volume of anything. And if you do right now, then the thing is broken and you need to fix that. So, if you did drive people, if Spin did drive people, the user experience is crap because you try to open a pack and it's high volume. There's like 4 people buying packs. It's not high volume. And then on like the 7th pack, the whole app just crashed. It became a white screen and I had to like shut my phone off and log back in to do it again. So why I said maybe it's, look, they made plenty of money. They sold a lot of the stuff. They have to right size it. They have to realize that they don't have the demand to meet the supply that they're putting out. Continuing to put out packs is not the best thing in the world, but they're not blind to it. They did have an announcement recently that they're going to be doing, like challenges that use the old stuff to reward people who have been in it and have held on to and bought some of the old stuff. And I believe they're going to be doing some physical versions of the cards as bonuses for people, which, I've been asking for since the stuff was released, a year and a half ago.
If you were to say, not to cut you off.
No, I mean, basically but the thing is, if they can't even get their app right, if a new person came today because of Spinatron and had the user experience that I had with my 10 packs, I would never come back.
So let me ask, pick like an iconic Panini card that you think is super cool, like that you'd want. Forget the price.
Steph Curry National Treasures RPA.
Okay. How much of Panini's business success, the actual organization, how much impact did they have on the future value of that card?
How much going forward do they impact the card? Very little, because they could be sold tomorrow and the card would have value independent of what happens to them.
How much impact does Panini's business operations have on the success of Panini digital moments, though, or digital cards?
A lot. They will determine the entire future of it. They can make decisions now that might not be great for their bottom line in the next 6 months or a year, but will make it sustainable for a long term, or they can continue to go down the path that they're going on and basically, be an NFT that keeps on printing more series.
Can you take that NFT off of Panini?
No, but I believe that's in the works.
So my thoughts are this Panini Direct will never be successful. And not because the idea isn't fantastic. It is amazing. You can clean up my bet is against Panini because if we've watched anything from this company, and I'm always a much bigger action.
They're taking their sneakers back from you, by the way. They're calling Reebok right
That's
now.
okay.
He's crapping on us. Take your sneakers back.
You could have the sneakers, guys.
Oh.
I don't want them. I want our community to have them. I
You
don't
already
care. I can
gave
buy
him
my
the
own
card
sneakers.
wax. Card wax.
Okay.
She just crapped on
Class
your
action.
I'm sorry.
Panini's gonna sue Card Wax. Card Wax is gonna sue Panini. Panini owes Card Wax every day. I'm sorry to you blow up Card Wax's spot. Anyway, what was it? Oh,
You were gonna say the Panini
actions
sucks, I
over
think is what
words,
you were
right?
saying.
Everyone speaks loud, but like you could watch people's actions or businesses' actions. I feel like everything Panini has done as for the eternity has been profit centric, not hobby or community centric.
I tend to agree with that, and I also think, by the way, that they're going to continue to pedal the metal on that while they still have the licenses and while they still have what's going on. I think, yeah, I mean, especially, on the stuff where they do own, right? I mean,
WWE, UFC.
How many more years do they have before Fanatics takes over the licenses?
I don't read contracts.
Okay, so I mean,
they say 2025. So I mean,
I would think they're
just
going to
2
print.
years.
I think they were going to print. I would think they're going to print like crazy, and NFTs are no exception to that.
It brings me to my next point. This is a fantastic, obviously more chill episode. So I hope you guys enjoy that vibe. We have timestamps. Thank you for doing that, Mike.
Mike, you are the man, Mike.
Whatever happened in 2015, that might be the sweet spot. And what's amazing about watching these PWCC weekly auctions, do you know how many high-end Jokic cards have been sold in the last 2 weeks? Like high-end over $100, honestly. Or like $200.
How
like
many? Not that many.
Zero.
Yeah.
And I think from just the supply perspective, I think Jokic is the best buy on the market right now, and it's not even close. If you could buy his cards at auction. Because if you go to eBay, there's so many of his cards that are just listed for astronomically insane bin prices. Obviously, I'm not saying spend $100K on his card. But if you're seeing a nice auto of his, and he has no patch autos, by the way. If you see that hit auction, there's not going to be many of them. There's very few that have hit PWCC weekly. And
so yesterday you changed your comp on Giannis from Michael Jordan to Hakeem Olajuwon. And it was because he's a big guy and, he's going to be MVPs and championships and he's going to win Defensive Player of the Year. And it's not the worst comparison in the world. I mean, Hakeem's a top 20 all-time player, I would say, maybe top 25 all-time player. One of the top centers of all time. Very similar game. And today you come on and say, buy Jokic cards. Is it because they're cheaper? Is it because you think that he's not a prototypical center and somehow that's going to change that people don't buy and keep big men?
I think a few factors. So what I actually said, I think he's the best investment, and why we say that is because, or the best buy maybe, because I love the debate, but a few things. I think he has significantly lower expectations than Giannis with significantly more upside. So that's number one. Number two, that I think is also in his favor is he actually is one of the only players in the Panini era that has a true rookie. It's that Panini Prism, right? Like, I don't think all his stuff Optic wasn't out that year, right? Select, there's a few selects, but I think Select was all hobby then. So there's maybe one or two other parallels. There's a few NT autos, few flawless.
Better buy than people now, but better than Giannis? I mean, Giannis, the same thing you're talking about with the Panini, the same thing for 13.
I think he has lower expectations than Giannis for whatever reason, even after winning 2 MVPs. It's not like anyone's expecting him to win a third MVP, even though he's clear-cut favorite. And no one actually has the Nuggets getting to the finals, or the market hasn't priced all that stuff in. So I still think he has that upside, whereas Giannis has already won Defensive Player of the Year, MVP, and championship. It sort of feels like, okay, we've seen the top for Giannis, and now it's all real downside unless he wins 5 or 6 or more of these. And I think Giannis has more cards for sale than Jokic does. I know I'm hitting you with a lot here.
I mean, it seems to me like, and obviously Jokic is still so young and people don't realize that also, but if I were to make a comparison, Giannis is Mahomes.
I hate when we compare to football, though.
But just think for a sec, right? So we had championship. We had MVP. Championship MVP, Giannis Mahomes. What would the comp be for Jokic? I'm going to say it's Aaron Rodgers. Repeat MVP, defending MVP.
I think it's Wilt.
I mean,
Very few cards. Never won a championship. Did things statistically that we never ever saw ever.
I think Wilt won one, right?
I don't believe so, but we'll check. I'll check. Maybe we won one.
I think he won one, maybe with the
One
Lakers. But I understand what you're saying.
1967 and 1972.
72 with the Lakers, I think. That was the one I thought. I remember the 67. But I mean,
and Luka Nation, here's the beauty. Let us know your thoughts in the comments, right? This is a debate. It's not like this is like chiseled in stone and you know.
I like that the lack of supply. That's helpful, right? Because you don't have to have a million things run, you know, and obviously he's talented and he's done a lot already, you know, winning MVPs. You know, that's pretty nuts. It's just I struggle with it because it's almost like you're trying to make it happen. You know what I mean? Like, okay, he won the MVPs, he's a great player, but he's just I mean, there's not much to get excited about over him, which sounds weird when the dude's putting up 40, 27, and 10 stat lines, right? I mean, if you can't get excited about that, what are you going to get excited about? But I don't know. You know, people like to buy comic books of superheroes that are chiseled and fly and the whole deal. He looks like, you know, the older, fatter version of me. Mr. Incredible, you know what I mean? Like he doesn't look like somebody who you want to collect. He doesn't look like your traditional hero type.
27. You know he's 27 years old.
Yeah, he's young. He's
32.
He's
averaging this. He's 32 points. 32. Wait, let me read you guys his stats. 25 points a game, 11 rebounds, 9 assists, 1.5.
You know what the most impressive thing about him is for me?
What's that?
The durability. Because here you have Steph out, you have Anthony Davis out again. You got all these guys missing time. You got Kawhi, who's basically having his load managed by Paul George, and Jokic just plays. He just plays. You know, so I like that. You know, Santa Claus may or may not be bringing a Jokic jersey.
I understand he's not the most marketable. He doesn't have like that triviality like that Wilt does, but we'll see. I'm curious what you guys think. Last topic from my end. Do you think playing a legend that's still playing but not improving upon his performance hurts their cards?
Yes.
Tom Brady, LeBron.
Aaron Rodgers.
You know where else go.
Tom Brady, LeBron. I mean, Rodgers is a Super Bowl winner, multiple MVPs, and his cards they're nothing by comparison to like even Trevor Lawrence now. There's less to get excited about. And, you know, there is that. The best comparison I'll give you is a year and a half ago when everybody was talking about buying Tesla instead of Ford. And you're like, what the hell are you talking about? Ford's been around forever. It's a great stock, blah, blah, blah. And Tesla, you're buying it on future earnings. Well, how'd that work out? You know, I mean, right now Tesla's in the crapper, but it's because people are buying that future potential. People are buying that I want to get in early on something that could be the next big thing. You usually don't want to buy Ford when the earnings are basically already baked in. There's no growth. You know what's going to happen, and it's at the tail end of its run. And all these other guys are going up there, and I'm going to be the next one. I'm going to do better. I'm going to revolutionize the game. So yeah, I mean. The better question, and what I'll leave to you is, all right, so their values are going down because they're playing and not lighting it up. What would happen if they retired now, or if they retired at the end of the year? We haven't
had a surprise retirement in a while. Remember,
let's just say Brady retires right now. I don't think he's going to, but let's just say he does. And Rodgers retires. What happens to their card values then?
Instant. I think you see an instant bump.
I know it's a different story, but it didn't happen to Breeze. And it took a little while before Manning's cards did. So that's why I ask it. Like, I don't know if it's an immediate bump. I would actually say, Brady's cards, they're being propped up a little bit. Rodgers' cards being propped up a little bit on the chance that maybe they're not retiring. Maybe they could still do something good. And if they retire, they're out of sight, out of mind. And all of a sudden people are like, I don't really need that stuff. And Breeze's cards, I don't even hear people talking about Breeze's cards anymore. And he was one of those like neck and neck, with the records for Brady. And Manning yeah, I mean, yours truly, I'm buying some Manning stuff also because I think he's underrated by comparison, and underpriced by comparison. But, after he retired, people weren't really like, I mean, the fans, Drake was out there buying, Drake's PC, not Drake Champagne Poppy.
It's
But
hard to know the right time to enter the market in general right now. Like I was sending through the group cage. I don't know if you had a chance to see, just like the prices of base silvers, like PSA 10s today.
yeah, I saw him.
Like
We're talking about Michael Porter Jr.
$1,800 was the peak, and it was 190 right now. It's just with this huge run up, I think it's left people not concerned about the hobby, so to speak. They just don't know their right entry, right? I think they're like, is there another leg down? But they don't want to miss it.
Yeah, and a better question or another question is
$92 is a MPJ silver PSA 10.
even at $92, should I be buying it? Is that card ever something that would ever really be valuable? It was because part of it is like, it's $1,800, it's $92 now. That's 5% of the price of what it was. I gotta buy in. It's so beat up. That's gonna go up. But even if he plays well, is that a particular card that people are going to be chasing? I don't know. My gut tells me no.
Like our hobby, we think a lot about influencers, right? We talked about it yesterday. I don't think influencers really move stuff that much. I would say maybe 1%. I just think money moves it. And what I've seen is rarely does money come back to something after it leaves it, unless it's a final destination, like a true grail. But like once it's been used, I haven't like NFTs or stocks, like the penny ones. It's not like it ever gets repumped. They move to another thing that's pumped. Do you agree?
Yeah, I agree entirely. I think the money just moves around from one thing to another. 100%. Yeah, I mean, you just said something, and I was going to ask you a question about it, but now I forget what it is.
Was it about NFTs?
No, it was you said something. It was so Christmas coming up, days away. Do you have like an idea of what you're going to be doing? Do you have like a go-to, movie you watch on Christmas? Or do you have like, a Hanukkah thing, that you do? Do you eat Chinese food? Like what's the next couple of days looking like for you? And your birthday, obviously. So
we do a sauna day. So like by our house, there's like this like pool sauna.
Are you going home? Are you going to Philly?
Yeah. Flying. $48, Fort Lauderdale to Trenton. $48. Crazy, right?
Wow, that's amazing. And in a holiday time, you're gonna fly into Trenton. You're gonna go. So do you do it the right way? Do you go to the Banya and you have like the birch and you like beat up with like the whole circulation going? You do the whole deal.
So it's pretty cool that, like where we're at right now. So the person that does it for us is like our like second grandpa. They were the people that helped us get out of Ukraine. So they were the ones like you have to be called, like someone has to like sign and be like, we'll chaperone them. So they were the people when we first immigrated, when the Soviet Union collapsed, we flew into Newark.
They were your sponsors.
The sponsor, the grandma and the grandpa, the godfather, I guess, were the ones that met us here. So he's the one, he does the birch stuff, and he used to do it for like the Devils players, the Rangers players. He is an enthusiast. He loves this stuff. It's really cool.
He's looking to hurt you.
It's a little weird, but it's super freaking awesome.
Do you wear like the little Peter Pan hat and everything? Yeah, I've done all of this.
We have like 4. It's the best. The one on Lower East Side, right?
Do you drink Baltica? Number 9 is good stuff. Heavy alcohol.
I don't know how people drink in this because they do slug beers.
Yeah, that's what I would do. A little Baltica number 9. Boom, a little darkness. It was a good time. Then you jump into the ice bath and you run back over ice and hot. Then you little steam, a little sauna. Yeah,
it's really an amazing day. The only thing I'd suggest is there's like one in Marlboro, New Jersey. There's one in Lower East Side. There's one by me. Make sure that you save time in the afternoon because you're gonna want to nap for like 4 hours.
Oh yeah, and stay away from. If I could throw in just a little addition, I mean that's a very good tip. The guys with the star tattoos, stay away from those guys.
Wait, what's the on their back? Tramp stamps?
The little stars, the star tattoos. Just stay away.
Who has that?
It's a movie.
Call him out
with Viggo Mortensen.
All right, how is the city? Is it festive right now, New York?
Yeah, I mean, I went to a restaurant for lunch today, and it was really done up nice. It was like garlands and Christmas trees and stuff like that. I thought of you during lunch today. Yes, not, but it's funny. Darius Garland. So you do a basketball name. Why I thought of you is there's a basketball name too, because it says up there steaks, chops, dry aged, Kobe. So the word Kobe is on the wall in front of me. I'm like, oh, look at that! I should take a picture. A little Kobe action. A little Andrew's favorite Kobe. I did not order the Kobe.
The world needs a Kobe. The world needs a Kobe.
Well, you can be the next one.
You know? I think there are going to be. He in his short time, he inspired a lot of people. You know what? A lot of people don't realize, like, they know that he won. I think it was the Oscar or whatever, the Grammy. I think it was Oscar, right? There's this amazing podcast that he released. It was called the Punies. It was such a cool, like, Saturday morning cartoon podcast. If you guys ever have a chance, like, you're doing a drive with your kids or even alone, it's called the Punies. Give it a listen. It was about teamwork, teaching teamwork to kids.
You are the Kobe of podcasts. You know,
I love this.
Come every day, and job's not finished. Just do it again tomorrow. Job's never finished. You bring the Mamba mentality to the podcast world.
We've been doing a little more business stuff in December, if we're being transparent with you guys. I'm really looking forward to kind of having that stuff solidified. So January, we could just go to shows, talk cards, that kind of stuff. Because the flow, like, I do feel like I do like the momentum of just like talking cards. And this month has been business.
So the more I think about it, the more I believe I will go to the East Coast National. And I may have to do some autograph stuff.
When is that?
In January.
Before the Dallas show?
I think so. It may actually be the same weekend as the Dallas show. But why is not only Polar Bear, Pete Alonso going to be there, but I was told George the Iceman Gervin going to be there. Might have to get that guy. Might have to get a finger roll autograph from that dude. So anyway.
January 14th. January 4th. Penny's going to be there? Oh, no, it's an upcoming private signing. I don't know.
He's got a private signing.
Luka Nation will be back tomorrow. The Collector Series, I don't know if people have been watching that, but
DPZ.
The feedback's been amazing. So
he's killing it.
Episode 1 was Cajun. Episode 2 was Basketball Card Guy. Episode 3 will be Chris Hodge. I think we have. So
let me say Chris
Hoge. DPZ's done an amazing job with that. It's a collector series, and I think people appreciate it at a time like this, hearing the stories of how people collect and why they collect. It's evergreen content. So if you miss it today, you could go back and listen anytime you want. Any final thoughts before we wrap?
No, loving the hobby, loving the awards, loving December. Guys, it's holiday time. You know, I'll say this. I reached out to somebody today because I wanted to grab a box and see if I could get it here before, the big holiday. And I thought maybe this guy might have a line on one because I know he opened a bunch of them. And he said, unfortunately, he's a degenerate and he doesn't have any left. But I'm packaging you up some other stuff that I have along the same lines, a promo pack, a slab, the whole deal. Didn't ask for anything in return. And like an hour later had a package like shipped, the tracking number and the whole 9 yards, which is pretty awesome because I didn't ask for that. I was, I really just looking for help for like, hey, you got a line on a distributor or somebody who might have this particular item that I can buy and try to rush ship it here. And he instead is going to fill the void with, something else. That's the kind of stuff that people don't talk about enough in the hobby. That's pretty awesome. So, bro, Namath, thank you for that, man. I appreciate it. Yep.
95% good. That I'll stick to that percentage. I even will argue that it's even more. Don't let the diatribe crew confuse you. When you get on Instagram, I just saw our team posted a video. Are you a genius or were you lucky? It's your favorite topic about
luck. Yeah.
So thank you all for listening to another episode of Lucas, Tigers, and Bronzo My. I wanted to tell you about a new service that we have starting as of today, and I'm really, really excited to bring it to you guys. So as a part of our partnership with SGC, we got 50 free submissions every single month, and many of you have taken advantage of that. And it's amazing that we could have the opportunity to 650 episodes, 675 episodes in, to go ahead and give back to our community. As people were sending those cards in, they asked, can we send 5, 10, 20 more cards to you guys? We'll pay for it, but we wanted them graded with SGC. You guys know SGC is turning cards around in 13 to 14 business days, have incredible customer service, and they're Secondary market values are going up day after day after day, and that's exciting for the hobby and exciting for the grading landscape. So we didn't want to just rush into it. We wanted to do it right. And what we did was I relocated here to Boca Raton, Florida. I opened up a P.O. box maybe 5 minutes away from SGC, and I will be hand delivering and hand picking up the cards. So you don't have to worry about anyone else touching your cards. It will be me, and I will update you every step of the way. So here's how it's going to work. I'm going to personally pick up the cards from a P.O. box, prep them, new card saver, new penny sleeve, and deliver them to SGC every single Tuesday. Why Tuesday? Well, it lets the stragglers over the weekend come back through on Monday and gives me a day to prep, and it basically gives SGC the entire week to work on grading those cards. Once your cards pop, only then at the end of the process will you be paying for the service. It's $25 per card, simple as that, and the turnaround times have never been faster. We're hearing right now 13, 14, less than 20 business days. So there it is. 9170 Glades Road, number 135 is the P.O. Box in Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. 9170 Glades Road, number 135, Boca Raton, Florida, 33434. Of course, you could shoot me an email or shoot me a text anytime, and I'm always available. Many of you already have my email. It's iamandrewgoldberg@gmail.com. or my cell phone number, 215-519-9154. Reach out with any questions. I could walk you through the process. I've hopped on the call with quite a few of you, and I'm happy to do that. Love you, Luka Nation.